Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome. There we go. To another Learning Live. Hope everyone is doing well today. Hello, Jan. Thank you for joining tonight. Um, Hello, Lisa. Hello, all my friends that are joining. Um, let's talk about that rain. That thunderstorm last night here in Ontario was pretty darn spectacular. Now, I am someone who loves a good thunderstorm, but it shook the house. So, kind of crazy around here. But you know what? You know what rain brings? It brings rainbows. So, that is what we are going to be playing with tonight. We are going to be making rainbows, but I'm going to be giving you some extra tips on how to use colored ink on colored paper. And Matt was asking me earlier. He's like, "But why? Can't you just do that?" And on some darker papers, it absorbs the ink a little bit more. It makes your colors a little bit dull, a little bit muddy. Or in the case of something like a navy blue, or even a black, that could be really hard. So come along for the ride with me tonight. I do have a bit of a tickle in my throat, so I will be taking some water breaks along the way, and we're going to have some fun. So if you're ready, I am going to jump over to my desktop camera and show you what I am working with tonight. All right, and I'm guessing I'm seeing people say hello and chiming in, everything else. If I'm guessing you can hear me and you can see my my desktop perfectly well now. We're going to play with a bunch of different things. So I do have my blending brushes for my rainbow of colors. I'm going to put this off to the side because it'll get knocked over if I don't. Tonight I will be playing with my new favorite 49 and Market inks. We've got Dollface, Sunrise, Pineapple. Sounds delicious already, right? Green Jean, Early Bird, and Twilight. But the real key to the magic is your white pigment ink. I am using the Hero Arts Unicorn ink. It is my favorite white ink, but there are also lots of good white inks out on the market. So absolutely use what you have if you're going to try this technique. As for your colored ink, really anything goes. If you have Distress ink, if you have Gina K, if you have Concord, I have even tried this technique with colored pencils, and it makes a really interesting effect. But tonight we're going to stick with inks, and we are going to play around. I'm going to just slide the rainbow up a little bit. There's my white paper I'm using. So I'm starting off with Lawn Fawn paper bag. This is their version of Kraft paper, and I do love that it has a somewhat uniform color spread. Some Kraft papers look very, I don't want to use the word splotchy, but it's got a little bit more irregularity in the color. I like the paper bag because it does have a nice uniform color to it, and it really does look like a brown paper lunch bag kind of idea, but it is a nice heavyweight and easy to play with. If we get going and we want to play some other things, this is Midnight from Concord and Ninth, and then I have my Spellbinders Raven, which is their black. Stencil. Pulled out an old favorite from Hero Arts that we do actually have in the store. I believe it's called Tiled Patterns, and it makes this really fun kind of mosaic. I was going to pull out my standard favorite, which is the Cobblestone. I've got a couple of these because I use them so often. But with this technique, you do want a little bit of space in between your shapes, and I was worried that might be a little bit too delicate for what we are going to do tonight. So, like I said, we are learning how to use colored inks on paper that you might not really think you can use colored inks on. And I was playing around a little bit, and this is what it looks like. if you just use the ink straight onto this cardstock. And you know what? This one actually turned out pretty good. I was hoping it would be a little bit softer, maybe a little bit more muted, but it's actually not too bad. But when you add the white ink underneath it, especially if you offset your stencil, you get this really fun and cool shadow effect. And it does bring some brightness into your colors because the colored ink is sitting on top of the white ink. The white is almost your foundation. Hello, Ellen. Hello, Janice. Everyone that is tuning in. Thank you for joining tonight. It might make a little bit more sense. I'm going to do this first. So this one, and I don't even know if you can see it very well on the camera, this is using yellow ink on that navy, and you really almost can't see it. It's very subtle, very dark. But when you add that white underneath, all of a sudden you can tell that it is yellow ink. And again, that white gives a really fun shadow effect. So let's get into it. Let's start playing around and see how this all comes together. So the other thing that I don't have on my desk here that I'm going to pull out now is my grip mat. I do keep my waffle flower grip mat on its own glass board here. Just saves me from having to peel it on and peel it off all the time. Bear with me. Hold on. Sorry, that's loud. Take that cover off. But now I'm going to just take my cardstock here and attach it to my grip mat. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit so that you guys can see a little more clearly. There we go. And let's come over. That's a little bit better. Nice and centered. So next, I'm going to take my stencil. And one thing I did, most stencils are pretty good now that they've got labels and markings already etched into the stencil. So down here, I've got SA114, which is the number of this stencil. I've got a little Hero Arts logo over here. But the key to this one, because we'll be offsetting, is you want to remember the orientation so it's not too hard to match up. So I just took a little piece of Best Ever Craft tape and put it up here in the top right hand corner. So when I take my stencil away, clean it, and bring it back, I don't get all twisted and turned. So let's just get this on here, get it to stick to my mat. I will still be using my hands to kind of help hold this into place, but if it's all nice and stuck down here, we are good to go. Now I need my white ink, which is here. Just gonna pop this over here on my smaller grip mat. And for white pigment ink, I prefer to use a foam blender. Pigment inks can really clog up a bristle brush like this. The pigment gets stuck in there and it gets really gummy and really icky to use. So I prefer for the pigment part of it just to use a foam blender. And you don't need a lot of ink. Just, get it nice and saturated. And I'm just gonna, in a circular motion, cover this whole piece of cardstock. Just like that. Easy peasy. And you know what? White on Kraft is also pretty striking in and of itself. I think I'm pretty good there. So when I peel this off, that looks pretty awesome in and of itself. But it's not what we are going for this evening. So yes, absolutely, you could leave it like this. And I think if you are going to leave it like this, you might want to take your heat gun and give it a little bit of a heat set, just to make sure it doesn't get too smudgy. I am going to peel this off just for now because I want to clean off the white here. And I'm going to clean off the white on my stencil. So in order to clean my stencil, if I want to be really quick about it, I'm just going to take a lint-free cloth, my stencil here. This little green bottle that I have has rubbing alcohol in it. Rubbing alcohol is a great way to clean stencils because it evaporates like that. And so you're not worrying about, okay, well, is the stencil dry? Is it going to muck up my ink? Is it too runny? Is it going to react? The alcohol works really nicely to just clean things off and dries really fast. Now, you do want to do that on a cloth. Do not use alcohol on your grip mat. So alcohol is just for my stencil. Make sure I get all of that white off. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good here. And then over here on my grip mat, just to get some of that white off, I have a separate bottle that is just water. You could use a baby wipe as well, but just having that spray bottle, whoops, it's a little squeaky, but just gets that nice and clean and out of the way. The key is don't mix up your bottles. And I don't even have mine labeled, but as soon as you open it, you can smell the alcohol, so you know which one is which. All right, that's nice and dry now. I can bring this back, put it back on my grip mat here. And the white can come out of the way. So here's where I'm going to say, okay, I know this was supposed to be in the top right corner, and I'm going to line everything up so it looks perfect. But then I'm going to go a little bit to the right and a little bit down. This is where you do want to do a bit of a reality check. Make sure there is similar, I'm an eyeballer, so it may not be 100% the same, but a similar amount of brown showing through here as down at the bottom. I'll bring my original one out in a second and show you kind of what happens when you don't double check that. Okay, that's not bad. So if I go back to my original one, you can see there's a lot more white over here than over here because I didn't offset it perfectly. And you know what? If you don't want that shadow, you just want the brightness of the colors, you don't have to offset it all. You can just leave it as is. So we've got that tucked down there, and I'm just going to work my way from the top left down to the bottom right with my rainbow of colors that you can no longer see here on the top of my screen. So I'm starting with Doll Face, which is my pink, or my red in the Roy G. Biv color spectrum. Get it nice and inky, and I'm just going to do a portion of it in that corner. See, easy. That's all you need to do. I have been wiping the stencil just with this cloth again in between so that my colors don't necessarily blend on the stencil where I don't want it to blend. If you feel confident enough, you can leave it, but I like to just kind of clean it off in between. So next is Sunrise, our orange. Like so. You can add some more color, blend it in if you want. Quick wipe. Pineapple is next. Yummy pineapple. This one's, oh, look how nice and bright that is on that stencil. All right, so there's right kind of down the center there. And you could really have fun. You could do just, a light, medium, dark if you wanted to do more of an ombre. You don't necessarily have to do the rainbow. But everyone loves a good rainbow. All right, green. This is Green Jean, which is, I think, my favorite green in the palette. It's a nice, true kind of shamrock green. I had originally planned to do this topic for Learning Live back on St. Patrick's Day, but then got sick. So it was fitting for St. Patrick's Day, but it's also fitting for a nice rainy day like today. Early Bird is next, this nice bright blue. And make sure I leave a little bit of space to add some purple in that corner because we all love that purple. Janice is asking, are you using different brushes when you change the color? Yes. I have a different brush for each one of the colors. I try to keep it, one brush per color. I might, if I was doing multiple things, I might do light and dark pink on the same one, light and dark orange on the same one. But when there's this wide variety of colors, I am switching up those brushes so that it keeps the color just a little bit more true. And my purple, Twilight. Twilight is the purple. Now, if you prefer to use foam blenders as opposed to bristle brushes for your colors, absolutely, that's no problem at all. I don't know that I necessarily have a preference. I tend to kind of flip back and forth. And sometimes I use brushes, sometimes I use foam, depending on how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like that blue in the center maybe isn't enough, so I'm going to go back. You can go back and forth. But otherwise, I think the colors are coming together really nice. Just a little more intensity here. I think I was slacking on the blue. All right. So I'm going to do one last wipe here of that stencil. And are you ready? Are you ready for the magic? Let's peel and reveal. Absolutely, Janice. Don't be afraid to ask. Happy to be more clear when I wasn't clear. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I'm so happy with that. So there is our rainbow with just that little bit of white shadow to it. One thing I didn't think of until just this moment, Concord and Ninth has just come out with some new shades of pigment ink. I think one is like shortbread, and there's some off-whites. That would be fun to try as well, just to see if you could get some different shadow happening in there. But look at how beautiful that is. I am really, really happy with that. So that is what it looks like on Kraft. And you can see, compared to this one here, the colors do have a little bit more brightness to it, and it just gives it that little bit more vibrancy compared to not doing that. And I know a lot of times people will go in with like a white gel pen or something to create that shadow look, but why not just lay the white down first and layer the color over top? So that is lots of fun. Who wants to try blue next? We know that it works now on Kraft. Excuse me. Let's try it on the blue. And hey, maybe we will also try it on the black. So let me just give this a little spritz. Clean that up. Sorry for the squeaky. And then I'm going to lay this out. Put my stencil with my alcohol this time. Not the kind you drink. The disinfecting kind. But we're really just using this because it dries and evaporates so quickly. Alright, this is ready to go. So we're just going to repeat those same steps. So I've got my Midnight paper. This is very similar to Cosmic Sky with Spellbinders. It's a nice, beautiful royal blue. And let's go with our white. So my piece of tape, let's make sure we put it in the same spot, which is just over in the top right corner. Rub your edges of your stencil so it sticks to your grip mat. And if you don't have a grip mat, you could easily just attach it to your glass mat, use your magnets. Or if you're just using paper underneath, just use some Best Ever Craft tape underneath. My white foam blender, my white ink, everything's gone moving, so I've got to find it all again. And same thing, we're just going to ink that foam up, blend away, A good white ink is a real staple in a ink blending tool chest. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try and get in there as much as possible. Okay. Peel and reveal the white. And again, that looks pretty awesome in and of itself, but just not what we're doing tonight. So I'm going to peel that and get it out of the way. Clean again. I mean, this is me just being really particular so that I don't get ink where I don't want it. If you don't want to clean in between, if you are feeling a little risky, you can do that. But you do want to clean your stencil because you don't want to get that white pigment ink into your water-based ink. All right, so the stencil's clean. I was very particular about my stencil, but I was not particular about how I put my paper over there. So I hope I remember what direction I put this in. Make sure it's dry. I think we're good. All right, so there, a little bit to the right, a little bit down. There we go. And let's just repeat our rainbow. Little bit of pink. Maybe a little bit more. All right. Quick wipe. Orange is next. Can get very zen in here with the ink blending. I love just that feeling of creating something pretty. And if you've heard any of my chats about mental health and crafting, they do say that repetitive motion is really good for inducing what they call a flow state, so that you're just, in the moment. You're focusing on what you're doing. You're nice and calm. And by thinking about just what you're working on, you're kind of letting all the troubles from the day melt away. It's one of the many reasons why crafting is good for us. All right, green next. And hey, if you've had a really rough day, you could really scrub this ink. You could really get this ink blending motion going. And just watch it all melt away. I may not get, you know what? No, I might be okay. I got a little overzealous here with the green. Let's see if I can just squeak in a little bit of blue and then a little bit of the purple, because we can't forget the purple. I know people out there that would have my head if we forgot the purple. All right, just that little bit of purple in the bottom corner now. And presto. Okay, let's see what this guy looks like. Are you ready? Ooh. Ah. So some of those colors definitely stand out a little bit more than others. The yellow is actually, yellow and green is quite nice there. The pink and the orange is a little bit more subtle. I think it's showing up a little bit more in person than it is translating on the camera, but it's really fun. Yeah, Janice, crafting, especially if you're just doing some repeated motions, you're doing repeated steps, and that's why sometimes assembly lining stuff, doing the same steps over and over It's just going to create that flow state and really help your mind focus on what you're doing and let some of your other things go behind. All right, how are we for time? We're doing well for time. So let's try a black one. You want to try a black one? I think that'll be fun. And you know what? I think this time I'm still going to clean up, but I just because I desperately want to try my cobblestone, I am going to give that a try and see what that looks like. Our mental health is so important, and I know there are a lot of times where we're like, oh, well, I've got this job or this task or this chore to do. I don't have time for my crafting. It's really important for us to make the time and find the time. As Jan says, always good to clear your head. Absolutely. So even if it's just doing the ink blending part, even if you don't make it into something, taking 15 minutes out of your day. And trust me, this is a do as I say, not as I do, because I am not very good. And you know, that's why sometimes these learning lives are good for me too, because it gives me a reason to get crafty and get playing. So, all right, here is black. We're going deep here. Here is my stencil. This one does not have any markings at all, so I'm just going to take my little piece of tape, put it in that top right hand corner again, and I'm not even wrapping it around. I've just got it on the one side, little shreds, and let's give this a try. And maybe this one we won't offset necessarily. We might just build, because it looks like I'm right edge to edge here, so offsetting might be a little more challenging. Well, let's give it a try. What's the worst that's going to happen? We flip it over and we use the other side. All right, so get my white ink here. And I'm going to, because these are very delicate, I am going to more pounce this versus, well, I say that, and now I'm going to go in and actually rub and circle. But you can get away with just pouncing as well. It'll give you, just might take you a little bit longer. But this white ink is really just helping your dye-based ink not soak in to the paper. Just kind of a barrier between the paper, but not so much that it rubs off onto your hands. Like, look, my hands are still pretty clean. All right, who's ready? Who's ready? Da 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 da. Ooh, ah. Very Halloween. Oh, Denise is saying she likes crafting with people, which is hard because no one she knows crafts. Well, that's where you need to find some online friends. I know I've got some girlfriends that I Zoom with, and so you still get to be able to chat, but you still get to work on your projects as well. And hey, Denise, every Tuesday night I'm crafting, so come and craft with me. Haha. All right. So take this off, make sure I don't move the direction. Get my cloth. One last spritzy spritz here. And clean the stencil as well. All right. So that is clean. Bring our black piece back. And this one is a little tricky to line up at times, so bear with me. Oh, I didn't do too badly there. Okay, so there it is lined up. I'm just going to move it really ever so slightly. There's not going to be a whole lot of border. Get that all stuck down. And you know, I think this time I'm just going to use 3 colors. I'm just going to do the pink, the yellow, and the purple, just to see what happens. So let's start with pink. Do a wider wider swatch of the pink here. Kind of coming down the side. Oh, I can't tell you how much I love this stencil. Oh, I could play with it all day. Okay, that was pink. Let's do yellow. Right across the center there. Blend it a little bit into that pink. Fun, fun, fun. And then for all of my purple friends, let's do our purple down below. Give it lots of love in here. All right. Okay, just 3 colors. And see, I didn't even clean in between. I got too focused on what I was doing. Forgot to clean. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty spectacular too. Almost looks a little bit like a an optical illusion. You kind of have to squint at it a little bit, but it is super fun. So look, it worked on black. It worked on blue, and it worked, of course, on our Kraft paper. So your homework, and don't worry, we're not done yet. I'm gonna grab some sentiments. I'm gonna grab some die cuts and that kind of thing. We'll finish these into cards. Diane is saying she sees a haunted house on that. Absolutely, this is very Halloween kind of vibes. But my homework for you would be, if you're going to try this technique, try it on different colors. Try it on dark purple. Try it on red. See what different color combinations you can play with, because trust me, this is getting addictive. You just want to keep blending and blending and blending. And Janice says, I don't know which one is my favorite. 100%. I don't know which is my favorite either. But let's just do a final cleanup, and then I will get out some die cuts and we'll finish these into cards. And then that's our evening. So fun and easy. Learning new stuff does not always have to be multi-step. Again, make sure you don't mix up your bottles. Just clean this off. And cleaning your grip mat every so often with just a spritz of water. Or I know Darlene has been using stamp cleaner. If you're finding that your grip mat is starting to lose its stickiness, get some stamp cleaner out, because your grip mat really is just a giant acrylic stamp. It's the same material as those like a Lawn Fawn stamp or a Gina K stamp. It's the same material, so you can use the same cleaning supplies on it to get that stick back. I'm going to cover mine up. And this guy here, let me give Hit a White down. I had lost the cover for this, and then I just recently found it. So while I've got this out, let's put it away as well. Because that's the problem when they're clear. It's almost like, I almost like want to put a piece of Best Ever Craft tape across it so I don't lose it on my desk. But we're done with that. Let's clean this guy off, because you know what? You might as well clean up as you go. I typically am the kind of crafter that makes a huge mess and runs out of energy, so I just go to bed, and then that means the next morning I have to clean up, and that's not always fun. Or you just kind of shove stuff around and make room. Matt's shouting, that's more like it, from the other room. I tend to just move stuff around and make bigger piles. All right. And just in case, I know somebody asked previously. So this is just a microfiber cloth that I got. I think Matt got them from Canadian Tire. And I put a binder clip on them because I have, right here on the side of my desk, I have little hooks. So that way I can hang the cloths and I don't put stuff on it, and it doesn't get, doesn't make a mess of other things. All right, so let me pull out. So I've just got, some of my ephemera in a 2. Now I can't remember. They used to be Fab Files. I apologize. I don't remember their new name. Got these guys here. So I've got some different rainbow bits. And then I know I have, here. I've got a little folder with all my thank yous. So when it comes to, taking these, well, of course, you could take, that stylish new retro suitcase or the rolling Kraft tote, or you just dig out some die cuts. What you might also want to do is, what would look really striking is if you trim this down and put it on like a black background. Or, here, let's do this. Do I have one in here? That one's too fine. I'm just looking for a black pen, a black journaling pen. I should have tons in here. I'm just trying to find the right, this one will work. So what you could do, just got a black journaling pen. I'm just going to draw some nice scribbly lines. Create myself a little border. Just really freehand that. Maybe put some dots.
That's not really the rainbow I was envisioning when you said rainbow.
It is not the rainbow you were envisioning when I said rainbow?
No.
Oh well. So I'm going to dig out these little coffee cups because I think they're super fun.
I think they need to leave your door open or you're going to pass out.
Oh, is the alcohol smell strong?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, he's such a funny guy. All right, let me find a thank you first. Let's get a nice flat thank you. So we can just put thank you here in this corner. And why not use foam squares? So I'm just going to do 1 and 2. Pop that guy up. Actually, instead of doing, I was going to do bottom corner. But then it's going to hide some of our colors that we don't have a lot of. So let's just put it right here in the center. And what about that? That's pretty spectacular. If I do say so myself. Let's grab, I'm just going to put, sorry, I'm way off camera here. I'm just going to take some strips as well, some foam strips, to help support these little splashes. Do, 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 do. Look at that. How fun is that? Okay, so that's one card. I'm going to actually take the blue one here. I'm going to turn it landscape. Just for something different. Here we've got a thank you. Oh, look at this big guy. Or this big guy. That looks kind of fun, doesn't it? Or would it be better to do something more horizontal? I don't want to cover up too much, so maybe I need something smaller. That's kind of fun. Okay, let's do that. So, foam square, strip, Diane says the black and white border, or thank yous, really tie in with the black and white border. Absolutely. So this one I didn't do a border because I don't know that the black would show up super well on that blue. But you could get out a white gel pen, or again, you could trim it down so that you could put something in behind it. So Denise is asking what pack. So this pack was called... Sorry, now I gotta find it again. Here we go. This was called Just a Splash Coffee Ephemera. So it's got all of those. And my thank yous, some of them are not in packaging, but it is just thank you sentiments. So let's just put one in behind here. And just tuck it there. Oh, and yes, definitely it does have that three-dimensional look to it, both with the shadow effect and then you add your foam squares. And then look at what I'm going to do next. Just watch. I have rubber ducks, liquid pearls. What if we did some extra splashes? That's for the yellow. Let's do some green ones. This one is called Kiwi. Maybe I'm not making the greatest splashes, but you get the idea. And for my purple friends, let's do some purple here. This one is called Royalty. That is fun. So it's got those extra little shimmery bits. Excuse me. Denise, yes, these are Simply Stated Designs, sentiments and pieces. So if you go to our website, which is papercraftersworkshop.ca, and just look under the Simply Stated brand, you'll see all the different die cuts that we have available, including the sentiments. And then the liquid pearls are also, I think we showed them 2 weeks ago, so that we've had them for a couple weeks now. All right, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Haunted Mansion one. Let's go ahead and trim it down. I don't know what color I will eventually put on this or behind this, but at least now it's ready. Or maybe, what does this look like? No, that's not bright enough. I feel like I want to put like pink or something behind it. But for right now, I don't think this is the right pink. No, that's so not doing it for me. All right, let's just move on. Excuse me. And I will figure out what paper that's going to go on. What else do I... Oh, you know what else I have in here? This one, I don't remember which one it's called because I do not have it in the package anymore. But these little popsicles are fun. How does that look? If we put that there and the curly thank you, I love that. Okay, this one I think I will put flat. And I'll just use tape runner. Making sure all those bits are down. Put that there like that. And then let's pop that thank you up. And I think I gotta go halfsies. There we go. 1, 2, 3. On a jaunty angle. And there you go. How fun. How fun. Oh, thanks, Jen. She says it is just called popsicles. But I love that rainbow element to it. So easy peasy. bringing rainbows where you don't think rainbows can live. And I get my 3 cards out for tonight. Oh, zoom back out. There we go. Excuse me. Easy peasy. All you need is your white ink. You need your foam blender. You need your colored ink. And you can have a lot of fun. So please do give this technique a try. And if you do, please do post it in our Papercrafts Inner Circle. Let me go over to that screen here. There we go. So post it in Papercrafts Inner Circle, or if you don't know how to get into the Inner Circle, email it to me. I will also help you get into the group. We love sharing our artwork. We love seeing what everybody is making. And I hope you had a lot of fun. So new technique to try, especially if you're feeling blue, maybe you're not feeling super creative. Just start with the ink blending and everything else will come together. Denise is saying she's going to try and make it to the store. That would be awesome. We look forward to seeing you. We are closed this Friday for Easter or for Good Friday, but we will be open our regular hours next week. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Stay dry in the rain. Enjoy some rainbows as they come forward, and we'll see you soon.